Appreciate you. So I want you to stop for just a minute and think about your favorite teacher. What were they like? And what made them special? Because we all have that person in our past that we can point back to and remember that that person wanted us to become the best version of ourselves. But now we have a little bit of a problem in that there are fewer and fewer people who want to take on that role. There are more and more teachers who are getting out of the teaching profession. There are fewer and fewer teachers, potential teachers, coming out of colleges and universities. 58% of teachers surveyed last year said that they were seriously considering leaving the teaching profession. Between fall of 2020 and spring of 2022, 300,000 teachers quit teaching altogether. That's roughly the population of Pittsburgh. They quit. And they're being replaced by far fewer professional, well-prepared teachers. When you ask the average person, what do we do about this teacher shortage issue? Because if you've been paying attention at all, you've probably seen that the media, state government, federal government, they're catching up to the problem. They're catching up to this issue. We've known about it for a long time, and we've done a pretty poor job of preparing for it. But now it's hitting us squarely in the face. When you ask the average person, well, what do we do about this shortage? Most times the reaction you'll get, or response you get is, well, we need to pay them more. That's absolutely right. I don't even think that's debatable anymore. We have to pay teachers commensurate with the value they provide not only to the schools, but the school communities. And those are two different things. So, when you ask teachers who have left the teaching profession, and this is where it gets interesting. When they're asked, why did you decide to quit? Well, they mention pay. But then they mention a bunch of other things that are qualitative in nature that really don't have anything to do directly with money. They say, I don't feel appreciated by my administration, and that falls on our shoulders. I don't feel I'm doing too many things that have nothing to do with teaching. Any teachers in the audience? Okay, can you relate to that?
Yes.
Too many things that have nothing to do with teaching. They don't feel supported. And this is going to step on some toes. Parents, I'm a parent. I know most of you are probably parents. They are tired of dealing with difficult parents.
Yes.
Okay? Okay, so I'm going to tread lightly here because I work for parents. But the ball game has changed completely. Relationship between teachers and parents has completely changed. The expectations, the time commitments, completely changed. And it's stressing out teachers. The other piece, which I just mentioned, at being asked to do too many things that don't have anything to do with teaching. Here's my favorite example, assessment. We assess the poop out of kids. Okay, in Virginia, between third grade and high school, 32 standardized tests. Now in Finland, you've probably heard this, Finland is the country with the school system that we're supposed to emulate. They give 2. Not only are we doing all this end of the year assessing, but building up to that end of the year assessing, we're doing more formative assessment, growth measures, benchmark tests, PALS testing. Now, someone has to administer, grade, disaggregate, use the disaggregated data to figure out how best to help kids. And who usually has to do that? Teachers. Huge time suck. Huge. And they resent it, and I don't blame them. Over the last 125 years, we've put so much more on teachers' shoulders, and I think we're at that breaking point. I think that's part of this issue. Time is another issue. We don't provide enough time for teachers. We encumber their planning time sometimes. I was a former principal. I'm guilty. Hey, can you cover this duty? Can you go cover this teacher? Can you come to this SPED meeting? And teachers are nice people, so they say, okay, sure, I'll help out. But the work that they don't get done during their regular planning time, they're going to take home. And I've been married for 32 years to a teacher principal who brings work home every night. She's here somewhere. And the people resent that. Teachers resent it. So there are things that we can do that are qualitative to help teachers. Give them time. Show them that we appreciate them. Support them. And here's the other piece. And I'm glad I don't have any of my school board members here today. We have to be courageous leaders, and we have to take back the narrative relative to K-12 education. We have to take it back, because it has been stolen. There's other people out there telling our story, and they're telling it poorly. And we've let it happen, especially in the last 2 years. Example, our teachers pulled off a miracle in the last 2 years. Absolutely. We asked them to pivot. We asked them to teach differently. We asked them to use technology for instruction. We asked them to use new technology that they never used before for instruction. We asked them to do all these things, and then one day we tell them this, and then CDC says something the next day, and then we say, no, you got to do this other thing. They pulled off a miracle. We have to courageously support our teachers. I don't know if you remember this guy. If you Google crazy guy at school board meeting, that's the guy you're going to see. Now, typically at these school board meetings, this energy that you've seen on television or maybe in your communities has been directed towards usually the superintendent, school board. That's fine, we can take it. But sometimes it's directed towards teachers, which makes no sense. It's outrageous. And even if it's not directed at them, they've got to be thinking to themselves, do I really want to be a part of this organization? Do I really want to be part of this? This is crazy. So imagine some 22-year-old kid. Gee whiz, what is going on? We have to courageously stand up against this. And you know what? We haven't done it. And often the reason why we don't do it is because we don't want to be the story. But this is a way to support our teachers actively. All right, now we're going to get even deeper. We're going to talk about critical race theory. Are you ready? All right. You all know what a red herring is, right? The reddest of the red herrings on the planet is critical race theory. Okay? There is such a thing. But the idea that it is somehow infiltrated our public schools and teachers are grooming students and indoctrinating students is ridiculous. Teachers don't have time to pee during the school day. It's nuts. But people have latched onto this. And again, teachers see this and they go, what are they talking about? What? There's 1,865 standards in Virginia. I don't have time to teach critical race theory. Now, there's some bad actors out there. Somebody in Michigan, teacher gave some assignment, or somebody in Florida, said something in class. And yeah, there's 3.5 million teachers in this country. There's some bad actors. Someone's going to go off script and teach the informal, formal curriculum in an improper way. Of course, but the idea that this is somehow a part of our schools, it's just crazy. And teachers feel it. And here's something else that they see that is insulting. Teacher tip lines. We got tip lines now in Virginia. We have an environment where someone can contact someone in Richmond and share a concern about something that they heard may have happened in a classroom. So they jump over the teacher, they jump over the principal, they jump over the superintendent, they jump over the school board, they go right to Richmond. I don't like something that's happening in the classroom. Okay, fair enough. But you know what? That's where it stays. We don't get that information. So think about it. The people best able to address the problem, they don't even know the problem exists for the most part. It's not reported back to them. Again, it's insulting to teachers. It's a negative influence. And I'm going to end with this. Talk about school shootings. You want to talk about something that's pervasive? School shootings. That's real. Kids, teachers are getting murdered in classrooms. And I'm going to tell you something. School divisions will do whatever they have to do to protect their staff and their children. They will. They'll put up fences, they'll hire armed guards, they'll redesign vestibules so it's hard for people to get in. They'll buy software where you can just press a button and call the sheriff's office. But these teachers see this anemic response from state and federal government officials, and they've got to be thinking, do they really care about me? Do they really want us to be safe? Because they don't seem to be doing anything. What they usually do is they'll suggest thoughts and prayers. I'm a believer in prayer, but I also know that faith without works is dead. It's got to take action. And that's where we are. And somebody will suggest we need to arm teachers. No, we don't. Teachers are there to teach. They are trained to teach. They're not armed bodyguards. That's our job. We're supposed to protect them. If we're going to insist that teachers are armed, then double their salary, because we're asking them to do two things. Serve as teacher and ad hoc school resource officer. Look, as I said, we've got to take this narrative back. We've got to take our message back. We've got to support our teachers with courage. Courage. Because I'll finish with this. Every student, no matter where they live, no matter what kind of car their parents drive, no matter what community they're from, no matter if they're city kids or country kids, deserve to be taught by a highly qualified, well-paid, well-prepared teacher. Every single one of them. And right now we're not doing that. And the problem is just going to continue to get worse unless we do something meaningful about it. But these kids deserve it. Every one of them. And we're not doing it now. In the short term, kids will pay for it. In the long term, guess who's going to pay for it? We are. We got to do something. And on a more positive note, I got a stack of teacher contracts down in the green room. If you're interested, you let me know. Thank you very much. Thank you.